Okay, I think we're live. So I can check my audio here. This never works when I check it on my phone. Let's see if it works this time. Nope. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Ah, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, so we are live. Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Woodland Pools, another Cardano Q&A live stream. Let me we'll do this and do it right. Welcome back, everybody, to Woodland Pools. Thanks for joining us for another Cardano Q&A live stream. So for those of you watching us live, say hello and let us know where you're joining from. For those of you that are watching on the replay, we do these live streams every 2 weeks on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you're watching on the replay and you want to ask us questions in real time next time, join us 2 weeks from when we aired this today. And when would that be? Let me see. I'll tell you right now. This is how you know it's live, because it's not edited. Our next one is going to be in 2 weeks on August 4th. So if you're not here with us right now and you want to watch us next time, August 4th, join us 6 p.m. Eastern. For those of you that are here right now, say hello. Let us know where you're joining from. Drop in your questions and we'll get to them. We'll try to get to as many as we can in the next hour or so. So thanks everybody for being here, and let's get started. So we'll switch over here. Let us know, guys, where you're joining from as you join. Okay, cool. So going back to here, what we'll do is, oh, you know what? Let me also get for us the website in case anybody has any questions. And so also as people are filtering in and we're seeing specific questions that people might have, let us know, like I said, if you have any specific questions about anything at all, if it can be about Cardano, staking. We have Project Catalyst is going on right now. The registration already ended on the 19th yesterday, or no, 2 days ago. And voting is going to begin tomorrow on the 22nd. So yes, okay, cool. Want to make sure you guys can see that. Voting will begin tomorrow on the 22nd. So if you have any questions about Project Catalyst, we can also pull up some of the proposals if you have any specific questions about any of those, how to vote, anything like that. Just to give you a heads up on stuff we already have pulled up. We've got this here on Pool Tool. Sorry, this is Ada Pools. If you have any questions about the ASPEN stake pool, let us know. We've also got Pool Tool pulled up here. We can talk through anything related to that. Here is pool.pm. There it goes. And you know what I realized with my face up here in the corner, it always covers up. I want to show you. Oh, that's not it. Let me grab myself here. This one. This right here I wanted to show you guys. Never end up being able to give them the credit. So Smog is the guy who puts together the pool.pm, which is a really, really cool looking site. So every time I realize that whenever we're doing these live streams, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, Smog is doing that. And I always do it like this with my, oh, come on. There we go. I was doing it with my face up in this corner and I'm like pointing over here and you can never see what I'm talking about. So sweet. All right. Let's see a couple of hellos here. So hello from New Jersey, James. How are you? Josh. Hey, Josh. Glad you could join us. Josh is one of our active members in our Telegram group. So thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Chomsky. Hello. Where are you calling in from, Chomsky? Goofy dude from Redondo Beach. And our first question comes in from Josh. Can you give any examples of things you got to vote in the last round? Oh, you know what I can pull up for the last round for Fund 4? Let me find it. Actually, clever enough, I put it in our, I believe it was this guy. In this video, if I'm not mistaken, on this last weekly recap, the one from week before, we included a link here to, here we go, the Fund 4 voting results. Let me pull that up. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is what you're asking about, Josh, but here we can see, and this link I can share here too. Fund 4 voting results. Hopefully that pulls up. It seems like it's going kind of slow. Let's give that. Oh, there it goes. Great. So Fund 4 voting results. If anybody is curious, I will link that in the chat. There we go. Okay, so for anybody that participated and voted in Catalyst Fund 4, that link that I just shared in the chat, you can see all of the proposals that got funding. So here are, so these are the ones for dApps and integrations that were funded, the ones for developer ecosystem, and then it kind of goes all the way down. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, here we go. Then they also do it here, the voting in detail. So per category, they show you which ones were funded and which ones were not. So you see how these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top here of dApps and integrations are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it looks like, I'll have to check to see sort of how it correlates. But regardless, this should give you, oh, okay, I see. Here we go. So they're not sorted. So there's 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, so those are all the dApps and integrations ones that were funded. And so, yeah, so you can come through and see those. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, all of these have functioning links to the complete proposals that you can click on. And you can see more detail about all of the ones that were approved. Cool. Cool. Good first question. Thanks. Oh, and actually, what I will say, oh, shoot. But I had this open. What I will say also is, for those of you that are joining us both live and after the fact, if you do want to join us in our Telegram group, you can join us here. So for anybody that sees us in these streams and wants to chat in real time and not just like every 2 weeks, you can join us in our Telegram group that I just shared. We have so now we're up to over 120 members in the Telegram group, and gotta say, like, really impressed with like just how many just nice and like smart and really involved people that we have in there. So if you're looking for a positive community where you can just ask a bunch of questions and learn with a group of people and share information that you come across as well, and all of us kind of learn together, please feel free to join us in our Telegram group. We have a strict no jerks rule. I say it differently when we're not on YouTube and we're keeping it PG. But yeah, join us. Be nice. Share stuff. It's a really good group in there. And the cool thing is that a lot of people in there have all different kinds of backgrounds. And so if one of the two of us that runs the channel and the stake pool aren't around, we've seen a lot of times where we'll be busy doing something else, or we're tied up for the evening or whatever else, and we'll come back and there was some long conversation with people helping each other out. So it's a great group in there, and also a good way for us to communicate in between videos and things. So yeah, so feel free to join us. I see a couple of people joining in there now. Okay, so Chomsky from the Portland area. Hope everyone's doing well. I agree. Very nice of you to say. Tomas Martinez from the Dominican Republic. Very cool. Dominican Republic is a beautiful place. I've been there a couple of times. And if for those of you watching that have not been to the Dominican Republic, some of the nicest people on the planet live in La República Dominicana. So I highly recommend that you go and check it out. Okay, Chomsky again. Do you have any favorite projects on Cardano? So if you can elaborate a little bit about what you mean by favorite projects, there are some, and so I'll say as a general thing, there are some projects that have been really helpful to the broader community as a whole for a while now. And so, for example, so when you think about stake pools and sort of like bringing value to the broader network, for example, our value proposition with ASPEN stake pool, with Woodland pools, is that, we have our channel, we put together different videos to try and help educate. And I guess it's a good time for me to pause and say, for those that are new to the channel, maybe you just found us because it popped up on YouTube. At Woodland Pools here, our whole thing is to help educate and share information with the Cardano community so we can all grow our investments together with confidence. The way that we do that, especially in our older videos, you'll see a bunch of tutorials on most every topic that we've seen people come across. If you have a specific question on Cardano and how to do things, or how to delegate, how to set up a wallet, how to find a stake pool, stuff like that, chances are we probably have a video on it. So if you're here with us, you can ask. If you're in the Telegram group, you can ask. Or if you comment on any of our videos, we can help you out there. Then separately from those tutorial videos that help you get started, then we publish videos every Sunday. Here are our weekly recaps that we publish every Sunday to help keep you up to date on the latest news and information going on in the Cardano ecosystem. And what we started doing now, since we're honestly running out of tutorial material because we've covered so many different things, that we said, okay, well, how do we continue bringing value? So now every 2 weeks on Wednesdays, normally we would publish tutorials on Wednesdays, but now what we do is every 2 weeks on Wednesdays, we do these Cardano Q&A live streams. So that's sort of what we try and bring value to the community. And then we say, hey, if that's helping you and you find value in that, then consider delegating to our ASPEN stake pool when you are looking to delegate your ADA. But to actually answer your question, Chomsky, that being said, there's a lot of other great projects in the community that have different approaches to how they sort of bring value, right? And a great example is here, ADA Pools is actually run by, so here, see at the bottom, can you see it? Or let me hide your question for a second. So you can see here in the bottom, I believe, hopefully you can read that. It says stake with ADA Pools, right? So ADA Pools is run by a group, I think down here at the bottom, you see it, by the Cardanians. Oh, you see now it's covering up again. There we go. By the Cardanians, and they have their own stake pool that you can delegate to, for example. So, you know, if you like the work they do, you can delegate to them. Pool Tool, similarly, right here. Pool Tool is brought to you by Love, Pega, and Sky Pools. So Pool Tool is another great project that we think is really cool. That is, you know, providing value to everyone, right? To delegators, to stake pool operators. They're cool folks for sure. And then this is what I was showing earlier that my face always covers up. So now I have to find this and move myself again here. This Pool.pm, which I think is one of the most beautiful ways that you can see what's going on with a pool at any given time. For example, earlier today, we upped our pledge from 170K to 175K. So there you go. Throw more into the pile for the pool. You know, actually, I've been saying for a while that, you know, we've been chatting about this in our Telegram group, that for people who are, you know, thinking like, well, you know, thinking about investing and they've been like sort of putting it off for a while. Let me do this. Where's my disclaimer? Oh, here it is. There. There's not financial advice. Follow your own plan. But just let you know, like personally, when the markets were kind of going all crazy and bouncing all over the place, you know, we were kind of just opting out and just enjoying getting additional rewards. Now things have calmed down a little bit. Personally, we've started back up our dollar cost average plan. We buy a little bit of ADA every week. And so we've been doing that for a while now. And so we were able to bump up the pledge a little bit on the pool. So we're always trying to bring more value to you guys, both in terms of videos and then also like saying, hey, we're really committed to this and we add more whenever we can. So, but yeah, but Pool.pm is a beautiful project here where there's a really, really great interface that shows you what's going on. And for those of you that are already delegated, if you're curious about this Pool.pm interface, you can actually come here, you put in the pool ID. Here's actually, if you guys want to look at it, here is Pool.pm for anybody interested. And you can see our pool there. There we go. And it's cool because if you click on these different things, you can get all different kinds of information. So there is currently 3.5 million ADA staked on the pool. If you click on the ADA symbol here, you can actually see it represented in Bitcoin or in USD or in euros. But the other thing that's kind of cool is if you click on this total, you can actually see a live representation of everyone delegated to the pool, which is really, really neat. Yeah. If you can see here too, like for anybody thinking about delegating, we have delegators of all sizes. Our smallest delegators are down here in like literally just a handful of ADA. We've got a delegator that delegated over 1 million. And then we've got a couple 250,000 and a few 100,000. So yeah, really cool. All over the board, lots of people in the pool. So come on in, the water's fine. But those are some projects that we think are really cool. A lot of them are just sort of tools that everybody can use that are really neat. So yeah, those are some projects that I really like a lot. Leon, Ann Arbor in the house. Leon actually, and I like when our OGs join. Leon has been with us, man. I can't remember. I want to say you joined when we had like 100 subscribers. So I really appreciate you joining and delegating from months and months ago. So good to see you again, and right back at you. Hello. Okay, QSA Mullen Lansing in the house. Hello. Best wallet for Cardano. That's a great question. So it depends on what you're trying to do. We have a video where we compare all of them. I'll give you sort of a short version here that we can talk through, but I would recommend that you watch this video because it goes into detail about pros and cons of all the wallets. Look at that guy. Oh, come on. There we go. So here, this is for Ant. I have to do it here though, unfortunately. Give me 1 second. Ant, there we go. Ant, choosing a wallet video. There you go. And of course I mistyped video. But so anyway, so in that video, what we do is we go into the 3 different wallets. The 3 main ones that you can choose from are Dataless, Yoroi, and ADA Lite. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. The main sort of breakdown between them. Well, I guess also the question is, are you using a hardware wallet or are you trying to make a software wallet? So that's the first thing. If you're using a software wallet, you have to choose between Dataless and Yoroi. Those are your only 2 options. And then if you have a hardware wallet, you can choose between all 3, Dataless, Yoroi, and ADA Lite. Now, so that being said, going from Dataless to ADA Lite, that's sort of from heaviest to lightest. Dataless is actually a full Cardano node that is literally running the Cardano node program. It's the same node that stake pools like ours and relays across the network run. So the cool thing about that is that it sits on the network just like a stake pool relay. It connects to the network and itself verifies and validates all transactions. So it's a truly trustless wallet where it doesn't take anyone else's word for it. It verifies and validates all transactions, obviously including your own. Now, the thing with that though is because it is validating with the network, a Cardano node with like a stake pool, for example, it's always up and running and always live and always synced. So it's just always doing the thing. But for your Dataless wallet, because of the fact that it takes up a bunch of RAM, you probably don't have it running all the time. So every time that you open it back up, it needs to sync back with the network. And that can take anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours, depending on how long since you last opened it. So in terms of comparing the three, it's definitely the heaviest. It's the most secure because it trusts no one and validates everything itself. But because it's so heavy, one, it takes a lot of space in your computer, and also it has to resync every time. On the other extreme, you have ADA Lite, which is just a website that you just go to, you connect your ledger, and it gives you a representation of your ADA. There's nothing to install, nothing to load up. It's a website you just visit, but there's nothing saved for you either. Like you can't have a quick glance. You can't have like a quick glance of your balances or anything like that. And sitting right in the middle is Yoroi, which is a browser extension. They also have a mobile app. You have the benefits of being able to have a quick glance at your balances without having to authenticate or anything. And I will say for people that are new to this whole thing, and you think, well, that's weird. I loaded up Yoroi and I didn't have to put in any password or anything. After I synced it, I can at all times see my balances. Like that doesn't feel very secure. I'll remind you that your addresses are public and those balances are public on the distributed public ledger, right? So if anybody knows your address, like for example, if I come to here and I go to Delegators, look at all these Delegators here, right? We can see, let's just do 15 of them. We can see all of their addresses and we can see all of their balances. Now, I don't know who these people are, but their addresses and their balances are public. So when you have like Dataless or Yoroi and you link it to your hardware or your software wallet, then the nice thing that they have is since your address and balances are public anyway, anytime you open it up, you can always immediately see your balance without having to authenticate any further, because all it's really doing is just showing you an address's publicly available balance. If from there you need to actually send anything, if you have a hardware wallet, you authenticate in the device. If you have a software wallet, you would type in your spending password and send it from there. But what I'm getting at with all of this is that Yoroi sort of sits nicely in the middle where it's not as big and heavy as Dataless, but it still shows you a quick glance of your balances. And maybe it's not as quick as ADA Lite, but you do have that memoization of your balances always available. So there's a long answer for you, but check out that video. We go into detail. We show you the UI, the difference between all of them. And then at the end, you can choose the one that you like and actually go and download it. And we have videos at the end on how to get all three of them set up. So there's a nice long answer for you. Okay. What is my Cardano prediction at end of year? Crypto Flip. Also, that's a cool name, by the way. Don't really do price predictions. That's kind of like on the channel more and more, we've drifted more and more to just the fundamentals of like what the project is, what are the things that it's actually doing, how can it help, not only the cryptocurrency ecosystem, but sort of like the broader world, like with things like the Ethiopia project and stuff like that. We're big believers in the fact that if the fundamentals and the real adoption are there, then as it's being used and impacting lots of people, then the price will follow. And that's kind of as far as we think of it. In terms of you want like just sort of like high level numbers, like we're hovering around like $1 now. I don't know, like several dollars is realistic, but who knows? I mean, we could like, already we've seen that there was a pretty strong correction over the past few weeks and months actually, that could continue downward. So who knows, like end of year could be less than $1. End of year could be $7. Like, but kind of who cares? If you're in it for the long run, which we are, and you're just staking and you're enjoying your returns every 5 days, then that's sort of our thing is like, is the Cardano project doing the thing? Like, is it actually like solving real problems? Are we actually getting, return on stake back on our investment, which we are? And if those things are happening and the ecosystem is still being productive, the rest will kind of just figure itself out. So we don't worry too much about specific price targets or specific dates or things like that. I do look at price targets sometimes in terms of like where we can potentially buy more. But even then, I'd say the large majority of how we handle that is just every week, just buy a little bit and just buy a little bit, send it back over to the wallet. In this case, send it to the pledge. You can actually see here. So our pledge here going up from 170 to 175. The other thing too is that just so you're aware, guys, if you don't know, the balance in the wallet for example, for like this owner account, I'll show you here, the balance just needs to be greater than or equal to the pledge. So the thing is this going to show me here? Because this is still active stake. So that's actually not right. That's a snapshot of the boundary. But regardless, so what we do is like, just to not be like updating this constantly, what we'll do is like every like 5K or so, we slowly keep DCAing in, and every 5K or so, we'll just update it. So like what you'll see is if you were to actually look up, oh, I know what we can do. We can come here and we can look this up on this guy. And actually, I'll show you another cool tool that you can do, another cool project in the network. It's called Cardano Scan. If you haven't used it before, give me 1 second. We'll bring this over. Come on. The computer has a hard time when we've got like all these things running at the same time. Come on. Oh, there we go. Now it's loading. Okay, Cardano Scan. So what you can do is you can come to Cardano Scan. This is actually a really cool tool. And then also let me find who does this. Oh man, I don't know. Okay. I'm not sure who put together this tool, but there's another great project just out there that people are just doing. But you can come here and you can insert, you can paste a transaction, an address, an epic, anything, and it gives you all the information on that. So if we paste our address here from the pool, and so yes, here's a cool little tutorial on how to use Cardano Scan. Again, sorry, it's going really slow because between the stream and like all these tabs and windows that we have open, it kind of just takes a second. So let's let that go. While that's loading up, let's see what our numbers look like. Yeah, come on guys, we got like 25 people watching and only 8 likes. If you're enjoying it, please give it a thumbs up if you don't mind. It helps the algorithm and it helps other people find the stream so they can also ask questions and get some help. So if you are enjoying it, give it a thumbs up. Let's get some other people in here so they can get their questions answered as well. And also, if you think you have a friend who might have a question that they'd like to get answered, send them a link to the live stream. We'll be up for at least another half hour or so. There we go. We're up to 12. Let's keep that going. Let's see if we can get our viewer to like ratio to at least balance out. 24, now we're at 14. There we go. We keep ticking up. Appreciate it. Is this really not? Is it not gone yet? I kind of got distracted. Let me make sure here. So here's our address. Yeah, it's still spinning. Unreal. All right. Well, we'll come back to Cardano Scan. I'm not sure what is going on with them. We'll come back and check that in a second. Yeah, so Haval likes Dataless as their favorite wallet. Dataless is really good. The main complaint that we get, it's definitely the most secure. The main complaint that we get about Dataless is that it's so heavy. And for some people, it really strains their computer. But if yours can handle it, it's the safest way to go. Okay, Tomas. You have your Cardano on Binance because you were told you can get more rewards there. How true is that? You're new to the project. Great question. We actually have a video, Tomas, that I want to share with you. This one. So this video is about staking on Kraken, which is it's like Binance. They have a similar setup there. But the main question there is about if it's even a good idea to do something like that. Tomas, here is the why you should stake with a community pool versus an exchange. There we go. So Tomas, watch that video when you have a minute. But the short version that I'll tell you is the real rewards are the same no matter who's running the stake pool. What some of these exchanges are doing, like Binance and some of these others, is that they're promising you higher rewards because it's sort of like how like you see like with businesses, how they'll give you like a crazy discount so you join. They want like a cable company or something. You know, they give crazy discounts so you join and then the prices go up later. This is similar, right? Like they're offering you these really high rewards, but I honestly don't see how they can afford those rewards from what they're actually getting paid in rewards from the network, right? Like they can obviously afford it because they have so much money in these exchanges that they can just add more rewards and send them to you. But no matter what pool you are, the returns level out at between a 4 to 6% return on stake. But more importantly than those returns, so maybe right now they tell you, yeah, you have better returns if you come with us. But there's a few problems there, and in that video we kind of dig into them. The first one is that you have to lock your ADA in for a certain period of time. You have to freeze it on the exchange with them, and if you remove it earlier, then you get no rewards. If you delegate with a community pool like ours or any of the other ones that we've shown, there's no lock-in period. You kind of just do the thing, and then that's it. That's one thing. the other thing is that like for some of these pools like Binance, let me actually see if I can, because this is going so slow that I wonder if, oh, cool, this actually went through. So I'll come back to this in a second. But I always forget where they have their groups. Blocks. I thought it was here. Analysis. Here we go. Donuts, groups. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. So the whole idea of what we're doing here with cryptocurrency, this whole ecosystem, is all about decentralization. Well, that's one of the big things anyways, right? And if we look here at the biggest groups by stake, right? Like the amount actually delegated. Actually, no, sorry. Let's do it by count. Biggest groups by count, you can see that there are, this percentage, to give us the raw number? Oh, I guess not. But here we go. See, by far, it's single pool operators and community pools like ours, right? But if you look at that, what the results to in terms of the actual like ADA being held, you see here that it's still single pool operators, but a close second is Binance with 12% of the network. And that's 62 is they're up to 62 stake pools. So you've got almost 12 to 15% of the network is just being held by one entity, that one exchange. So that's a pretty big risk. Here, look at that. eToro is the next big one. They have 29 pools. I'm surprised that we don't see Kraken on here yet, but they'll definitely be jumping up here pretty soon. So the thing is, like, from that standpoint, it's like, well, do you want to be delegating to an exchange and then this sort of becomes more and more centralized with these different pockets? That's another thing to think about. And the last thing is, what we always talk about is the whole notion of not your keys, not your coins. If someone hacks that exchange and your ADA is sitting on that exchange, they're holding your private keys. So if someone hacks that, they can just take your ADA and it's just gone. Whereas if you have your own hardware or software wallet, you're the one holding your own private keys and you're holding your own custody of your own ADA, and then nobody can hack it and steal it from you. Hardware wallet's definitely the safest way to go to do that. But in the meantime, you could do a software wallet. So Tomas, so you have that video that I shared about why to not stake with an exchange, but separately, if you want to figure out how to get your stuff off of the exchange onto your own hardware or software wallet, this playlist here will walk you through everything that you need to do literally from start to finish. If you already have a hardware wallet, you can start with this first video. But if you don't, no worries, just pull up the playlist and start on this second video. And it'll help you literally choose which of the 3 wallets that we discussed, which one is the right one for you. We use Yoroi here as an example, but because it's the most popular one, it's probably the one that you'll end up going with. But if not, you can do it with the other ones. But choose your wallet. Then with Yoroi, we show you how to install Yoroi, how to get the ADA off the exchange onto your Yoroi wallet, and how to delegate that. Then we have a video on how to select a staking pool. We'd love it if you chose ours, but definitely choose the right one for you. And this will help you narrow down the right stake pool for you. When to expect your rewards. And then the most common questions that we've seen about people that are new, just like you, to this whole staking process. So, Tomas, here's another one for you that I suggest you check out that will help you get started. This is the Getting Started Guide on how to delegate to a community pool. Sweet. There you go. Cool. Really good questions so far. Goofy Dude. Question was, oh, actually, sorry. Before I move on, let me go back to what I was showing you guys here. So I just wanted to point out, just so you're aware, just a thing. When you see a pool and what they've pledged, if I go back here, you can see that our pledge was 170. It's now going to 175. But if you take the address and you put it into Cardano Scan, you can see that the actual wallet actually holds about 176 and change. So basically, there's a difference between the amount that the stake pool operator is actually delegating and the amount that they're pledging. They're two different things, right? The pledge, all it is just them saying, here's how much I pledge I will delegate to this pool. But there's nothing there that's requiring them to actually delegate that amount. Separately, there's the actual balance that resides on that wallet, on what they're actually putting. So what you want to see is generally that the total stake that's on that address should be greater than or equal to whatever they are pledging will be there. So that's why you'll see that like our pledge, and actually most pools pledge is some nice round number, because the stake pool operator will just pick like a round number, and then separately the balance of the wallet will be whatever it is. So not even sure how we got into that topic, but it's a cool way that you can look some stuff up on Cardano Scan, another tool that you can use, and just a little tidbit about how difference between pledge and the actual value on the address. Okay, Goofy Dude. Do you believe that ETH, EIP 115 Cardano? So admittedly, I don't do as much research into Ethereum as I do into Cardano. Is 1559, is that the the Ethereum 2.0 like staking? Or what is the protocol 1559 specifically? Let me know. And then we can talk about it. So yeah, let me know. And this is the thing too, is that like we take a lot of time to research and present things to you guys and sort of talk through the stuff that we've learned over like several years of being in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. But this is a great point where we don't, and am I still down here? Let me move myself back up. We don't and couldn't possibly ever know everything, and nobody can know everything. So that's why in our channel, we try and all the things that we feel comfortable that we know that we want to share, we share those things. And then there's some things that we don't know. And that's where we either do research to find it out for you guys for the next time that we're sharing it. Or like I said, we have some really, really great people in our Telegram group who have all different kinds of backgrounds that have found different things. Our big thing is that in this whole cryptocurrency journey, I know I say this a lot for those of you that join us on the live stream, but for this whole cryptocurrency journey, we're all just at different steps in this process. And our thinking is if we can help each other out and sort of, for example, we already went through, when we joined this ecosystem, there was no information that was easily found on like how to like pick an exchange and how to get your funds, how to go from fiat to the exchange. Then from there, like how do you find one of these wallets and how do you set up a hardware wallet? Like it was very hard to find some of this stuff. So we decided, hey, let's take all this stuff we've learned over years and put it all together and share it with you all. And that's what we try and do. But the cool thing about our community as it grows is that with everyone being at different stages and having different backgrounds, we're all just at different steps and we can sort of like help pull each other up and lift each other, as we're all moving forward and share things with each other as we go. So yeah, so that's sort of like our whole mantra, if you will. Opinion on cards, don't have one. You have a 1500 ADA on Dataless on seed pool. How do we compare? 6 months in, still learning. So Lee, I'd recommend that, so that's the thing is that it seems like it's a simple answer, like, oh, what pool has the best rewards or how do these pools compare or whatever else. Honestly, and this is not me like beating around the bush, what you need to do is you need to think through what's the right stake pool for you based on what you're looking for. We shared this a little bit earlier if you scroll up, but this is a video selecting the right stake pool for you. I literally just did it a little bit earlier. So yeah, if you can rewind, we shared it. But there are a lot of different elements that you want to take into account in terms of what you're looking for, consistent versus lumpy returns. If you're looking for something that is just purely like just for returns, or you're looking for something that's mission driven, there's a lot of different factors, but feel free to dig into it there. And if you still have specific questions about stuff, happy to answer them. Pool.pm, you can see the wallet balance and the NFT. Oh yeah, cool. Thank you, Chomsky, for reminding. Yeah, so Pool.pm, not only do they have this like really pretty interface where you can see all of these things, but you can also see like NFTs actually on here, and they actually like show up on there. So that's pretty neat. So if you guys have NFTs, you can check them out on here as well. Very cool. Oh, that's not what I wanted to click on. Here, Vinny, thanks for the videos. Need to learn how to stake, and if I want to, yeah, totally. So what I will say though, Vinny, is if you have my dog making himself a little bed there. I don't know if you can hear him pawing at his bed. So what I would say, Vinny, is if you already have some ADA, right? Like I won't. My disclaimer is still up. Still true, not financial advice. But let me take this off. There we go. What I will say though is whether or not somebody wants to invest in a certain cryptocurrency, if you want to buy ADA or whatever else, that's totally up to you. But what I will say is that if you've already bought ADA and you're already holding it, in my opinion, at least, there's no good reason not to delegate it. And the reason for that is because of a lot of things. One, there's no risk to you. And there's a good thing for you to know, and everybody that's listening, you never have to send your ADA anywhere to delegate it. Now, if you have it on the exchange, you would be sending it to your own wallet. But again, that's yours, to your own hardware, software wallet address. But once you've sent it from your left hand to your right hand, right, it's still yours. Once you've transferred it to your wallet, at that point, all you need to do is pick a stake pool and delegate to them. But note that like delegating doesn't actually send anything anywhere. So it's zero risk to you. The coins never leave your wallet. That's thing number one. The second thing is, as we were mentioning earlier about why to not delegate with an exchange, there's no lockdown period. So you don't have to hold it for any amount of time in there. You could do it for 2 days or you could do it for 5 years. It's totally up to you. And you can always just send it back to the exchange and sell it. And then I had a final one there. Oh, and there's also no minimum quantity. So that's the other thing too. Ooh, actually, Tomas, I'd forgotten about this is another reason. With those exchanges, they usually require you to have a minimum amount before they will let you delegate with them. With a community pool and like as far as like the base layer infrastructure of the network itself, there is no minimum requirement there. So no risk to you, no lockdown period, no minimum to stake, and you get rewards every 5 days. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you already have the ADA that you probably want to stake it. So Vinny, I would say that playlist that I had linked to Tomas just a couple minutes ago about how to get started, recommend you check that one out. And it'll help you, this playlist here that I linked, it'll help you with everything you need to know on how to select a wallet, how to set it up and get your funds there, how to select a pool, when you should expect rewards, and some other common questions. So yeah. Okay. Goofy dude, yes and yes. Great. I'm glad I helped. Okay. Next, Nelson. How can you install Dataless wallet on more than one machine for redundancy? Oh yeah, totally. So, and actually you just reminded me of another video that I want to share with you. So keep in mind that when you make a Dataless wallet, so I'm assuming you're talking about a Dataless software wallet, Nelson, and let me know if that's correct. I'm assuming you're talking about a Dataless software wallet. But if you are, with Dataless, what you're doing is when you set it up and it gives you the passphrase and it generates for you the public and private keys, the recovery phrase that you wrote down, that is how those keys are generated. They're generated directly from those words. So if you were to, on another machine, install Dataless again, and you go through restore mode instead of making a new one, and you were to restore the new wallet using those 24 words, you would now have two identical wallets from the perspective of the network, because those 24 words, the process is deterministic. And so using the same inputs, you get the same outputs, right? So if you use the same 24 words, run through the same algorithm, you get the exact same output of the same public and private keys. So if you were to, on a separate machine, load up Dataless, go to restore, and use the 24 words that you used on your first one, you'll end up with a cloned identical wallet that will have all the same transactions, balances, and the same authority to sign and send transactions as you. For a little more clarity on that whole thing, I highly recommend that you check out our video on crypto keys, wallets, and addresses. And we go into how all these things work together, because it can be kind of confusing when you're first getting started. So Nelson, there you go. Oh, that is the keys, wallets, and addresses. Okay, sweet. Cool. We got some other people, some other new folks that just joined. Let us know where you're joining from, and let us know what questions you have. We're up to 19 likes. That's good. If you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up so the algorithm will show it to other people and we can get their questions answered as well. And if you know somebody that would enjoy this, send them a link. We'll be going for about another 15 or 20 minutes. So let's see how many more questions we can get to in the meantime. All right. Lee, cool. Glad that helped. Next. Kui. On the staking pros, the rewards automatically compound. You can top it up super easily. It's like dividends, but for crypto and decentralized while securing the network. Yeah, wow, very well said. Very cool. So very, very well put. And this is a good moment to kind of like explain a little bit more about maybe how the wallets and the registration and everything works. So the way to think about it is you, and this is for those of you that are brand new. I forget, like we had Vinny and Tomas and a couple other people that are like brand new and trying to think about, do I want to stake and how does this whole thing work together? So when you delegate, so what's gonna happen is you get your wallet, your hardware, your software wallet. From there, when you delegate, what's gonna happen is the public and private keys that are associated with that wallet you're going to register with the network. That's why there's that registration fee the first time you delegate. You're going to register with the network and you're going to be assigned a staking address. So now your wallet, the way it's helpful to think about it is you can think of a Cardano wallet as being multidimensional. You have what are called your value addresses, and your value addresses, and there are multiple of them, right? And that's the whole thing about best practices and using a different address each time, but different address each time. But that's a whole other thing. I'm trying to keep it simple here. The first dimension to think about it is your value addresses. And your value addresses all summed up is the total amount of ADA that you're holding. And for something like maybe like Bitcoin or other things that don't have any kind of other like intelligence built on top of them, all they are is just value, right? So in the simplest form, your value addresses is just literally the total sum of how much ADA that you're holding. And those, when your wallet first got set up, also registered with the network to get those addresses assigned. Now, the second dimension you can think of it of is that when you register to stake and you want to get a staking address, there's now a second dimension that's created where you have now a staking address that's separate from your value addresses. And that is the address associated with the delegation, with your staking address. And that's what's associated with the stake pool that you stake to. So the cool thing is that this address is saying, okay, this wallet is now delegated to that pool, and that link is now created. And so anytime that you send funds from the exchange to your wallet and your value addresses go up, since it's linked, your staking address, which looks at those same balances, says, oh, hey, listen, by the way, the value of this wallet went up and it's already linked to this pool because we've already delegated. So, hey, guess what? Their delegation's also now gone up. And then since we're also in Catalyst, I'll say the third dimension of how to think of it too is that you've got your value addresses, your staking addresses, and then a third dimension of another set of addresses that you get are then your voting registration addresses. And similarly, it's derived from your value that you have, right? Like how much you're delegating is derived from your total value. And similarly, your voting power is derived from your total value, but it is a separate registration with the network. And then when you vote, it uses that voting power to do your votes for different projects. But these three things, even though they all work together, are all separate things. Now, if you think about it in terms of the way that I said how you can have different value addresses, and when you look at your wallet, you go to like the received section, you'll see a bunch of different addresses, and they all tie to the same destination of your wallet. What's coming in the future with multi-pool delegation is that instead of having one staking address, you can have several staking addresses, and then you can delegate to multiple pools, right? And then those would say, okay, and similarly, when you add funds to any of them, that is automatically compounded and added as well. So, this whole thing gets more functionality and more complex as it grows. But the easiest way to think about it is you've got your ADA in your wallet. And then assuming that you're just only delegating to one pool, whenever you add any funds to it, if you already delegated, those are automatically also delegated for you. And if you want to vote in Project Catalyst, whenever you add any funds to your wallet, it also increases your voting power for Project Catalyst. So I know that it's kind of like a little bit more than what you were saying there, Kui, but I thought I would add like some other context there, like since we're kind of talking freeform here in terms of like other things to keep in mind and how all these things all sort of come together. So sweet. I do want to go back to our pool though. There we go. Cool. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'm gonna get some water though. I always forget to drink water when I'm doing these things, and I was kind of like go on, and then I'm just like exhausted when I'm done. Okay. Cool. So Nelson said, yep, and awesome. Great. Thanks, man. I'm glad it helped. Wayne, hello from Las Vegas. Man, Las Vegas, how is it down there right now? I went to Las Vegas before the pandemic a couple summers ago, and it was toasty. It was like really, really hot. I can't even imagine how you guys are probably doing right now with the heat wave we have going on. So stay safe out there, Wayne. Cool. Let's see what else. Cool. All right, question time. May have summed that up well, but shamefully didn't vote and don't know enough about it. Catalyst is a good one. Oh yeah. Okay. I was rapid fire. Here we go. Question time. I may have summed that up well, but shamefully didn't vote lately or know enough about it in Catalyst. Any good way to get one's head wrapped around it? So glad you asked. I love when we get questions that like tee me up to be able to like, share material that we've already put together. So Kui, I would recommend you check out our Project Catalyst playlist. Now I will say while that's loading up, that Fund 4 is over. Rewards have been distributed. Fund 5 registration literally just ended 2 days ago, and voting is about to start. So if you have not registered yet, it's too late to register for Fund 5. But they've already announced a Fund 6 and a Fund 7. So it's like we were talking with some people that were freaking out because they felt like they hadn't gotten to ADA or to cryptocurrency early enough. And it's like there's always going to be another bull run. There's always going to be like another exciting opportunity. Next bus comes in 10 minutes. Don't sweat it. In this case, Fund 5 it's too late to register, but next bus in 10 minutes, man. You can hop on with Fund 6. And we always let our community members know when these funds are approaching and when the deadlines and dates are for registration. So yeah, so you'll be doing it for part of Fund 6, but you can, in the meantime, check out this playlist on Project Catalyst. It shows you how to register with either Adalite, Yoroi, or Dataless. Some more information on from a previous recap on what Catalyst is. And then here, once the voting round starts, how you can actually research and vote on a project. So let me share that with you. Project Catalyst info playlist. There you go. Okay. Chomsky. Has anyone here done their taxes for staking? If so, where'd you go? That's a great question. And actually, the kind of question that, because we're going to be live here about another 10 minutes or so, but that's a great question, the kind of thing that you can ask in our Telegram group. Let me link that one more time because we've gotten some really, like I said, really cool folks having some great conversations. We've actually had people talking about things like this, like taxes and stuff like that. So Chomsky, 2 things I would say, if you haven't already. So first off, actually, no, hold on, let me do this first. Telegram group for those that want to join. And separately, Chomsky, what I would say is if you haven't already, I'd recommend, so where, who you do to prepare your taxes, totally valid question. And make sure that obviously you're working with certified tax professional. But separately, if you want to wrap your head around like how to get your crypto taxes, because the thing is like they'll like do the taxes for you, but you need to like give them all of your transactions and everything. So if you want to see how to get that ready and how to get it all set up, then you can check out this video on crypto taxes made easy. There you go. So cool. WH, hi from Colombia. I've also been in Colombia a couple times. Beautiful place, awesome people. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna go for about another 10 more minutes. Dingle, oh man, missed most of the live stream. No worries. If you have any questions, let us know. Let us know where you're calling in from as well. Let's do a few more questions and then we'll probably call it here. But where were we? We were saying to El Colombiano, we were saying hello, and then Wayne. If I let my dad restore a wallet from my past raise, so he had access, would he be attached anyway when it comes time to pay taxes? No. So, well, this is, yeah, not financial advice or tax advice, but probably not. Like our understanding of at least the US tax code is that it's about like who owns that address and they're the ones to do it. If you just like had, yeah, let me make sure I'm seeing this correctly. Yeah, if you just like restored a wallet just so he had access to it, like for safekeeping or whatever else, like, no, I mean, they're your addresses. It's, think of it this way. It's like, think of it like a bank account, or no, even better. Think of it like a credit card. With credit cards, you can do other authorized users, and then other people, you can have other copies made with their name on it and everything. But at the end of the day, even though they have now access to spend money with your credit card, which by the way, if you give your dad access to Dataless, he will have access to spend money with your ADA. Like he'll be able to do transactions. So obviously within the family, probably cool, but just keep in mind that he has an identical wallet with identical abilities to do so. So it is very similar to the notion as if you made him an authorized user on a credit card. It's a good example because they have full financial access to do what they want with that, right? With that wallet or that credit card. But at the end of the day, that credit card is yours. You're the one responsible for paying the bills. You're the one responsible if your dad, like overdrafts it or whatever else, you're the one who has to like pay that. And everything has to do with your credit line, everything else, it all goes to you. Same idea with these wallets from our understanding is that it would just be yours anyway. So if he's just like looking at it, it doesn't matter. But if you like send transactions to him, that is considered, I'm not sure exactly how it's taxed, but that is like a gift, like as if you would like given him money. Now with it being family, that's all different too. So again, talk to a tax professional to be sure. But in terms of, hey, dad, I'm going to put this on your computer so I have a backup here. Do you mind? I'm highly unlikely if there's any tax implications there. And I say unlikely because I don't want to say anything certainly, but I am nearly certain that there's no reason why that should ever be a problem. Okay. Hey, Jeff, you made it. Glad you made it, man. Jeff actually is one of the folks that is very, very active in our Telegram group. And Jeff has been around cryptocurrency for a long time, and just really, really smart dude, really, really nice guy. So much so that a lot of times people joining our Telegram group always ask if Jeff is one of the stake pool operators, because he's like always around and just so helpful. So Jeff, I want to say thanks for being a great community member and always helping people out, man. You're one of the all-stars that's always around. So thanks, man. Really, really appreciate it. And glad you made it. Okay, so Chomsky. Oh, here we go. So that helped. Cool. Dingle, missed it, but calling in from the UK. Oh yeah, well, it's pretty late over there, right? So yeah, thanks for joining. Okay. Hello from Oakland, California. Question about sharing your Dataless address to receive ADA from someone. Is it safe for me to share the address with people or publicly? Yeah, so here's the thing, John, is that to have someone send you something, you have to give them an address to send it to, right? So, you know, you have to do it anyway. What it is as a best practice, though, that what they say is if you look like in Dataless in your receive section, how you have, Jeff, I just saw your messages. Like, oh, come on, man. Like, dude, no, you're a good guy. Really appreciate it. All right, back to the question. So if when you're in a Dataless and you see your different receive addresses, best practice is to use a different address each time. So that way, each person is just seeing different addresses. Now, we've talked about this before on the channel where like, if using a different address each time even matters. And the reason for that is, for example, if you come to something like Cardano Scan, you can just click on view all addresses and it'll just show you. Well, in this case, we always use the same one because it's for a stake pool. But like, if like, let's just pick a random one. This is the owner address, right? So like, okay. Well, I mean, this literally is random. I have no idea who this person is. So it doesn't even matter. But like, let me just see what we see when we put this in Cardano Scan. This is a random delegator that I just grabbed. So view all addresses. Oh, come on, help me out here. So they probably use the same one each time. But the idea is that either way, like if you use multiple addresses, they will show up here anyway. Now, the thing about it is that at the time that you're giving it to somebody, they don't necessarily know. That's a good point, I guess. When you use a new address and give it to somebody, if it hasn't been transacted on yet, there's nothing, I believe, that from the sender side that ties it to your other balances. So I guess there is that. There's a long ramble to say, John, that like, I would just long ramble just to say that if you're going to have someone send you ADA, you have to tell them where to send it to. So if you want to be safe, pick a new address on your receive section and give them that. And as long as they don't know any of your personal identifying information, there shouldn't be a risk there. But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, these addresses are public. So, I mean, you know, you can see addresses and balances. But if there's not, like if you don't have a way for anybody to, let me see if this is going to lag when I did that. I probably shouldn't have done that. But if there's no way for anybody to know, oh, this address corresponds to me or somebody else, then whatever, right? Oh, but sorry, I will say one last thing though, John. Something to keep in mind though, is that if you're giving it to somebody in real life, I'm glad this occurred to me. If you're giving that address to somebody in real life that you like know, and you're like, oh yeah, send it to me here. If that's an address linked to your wallet and they can like see your other addresses, that person will know the funds that you're holding. So that's something to think about. Like if someone that you know, like personally, you're like, oh, send me funds here, they'll be able to just come and just like go to that address and just see the funds there. So, you know, you might want to consider like if it's someone that you know personally and you don't want them to know the total funds that you're holding, you might want to like make like a separate software wallet just for that one transaction, then send it over later or something like that. But if it's just an internet transaction where for whatever reason someone is sending you something, you don't know them personally, it doesn't matter if they know your address or your balance because they don't know who you are. So hopefully that helps. Okay. So Tomas says I look like Edward Norton. I've actually heard that. I've heard that and John Cusack. When I'm like clean shaven, I hear John Cusack. Coming off on night. Hey, well, thanks for joining us late at night for a nice cap here. So let's we're about out of time. I'm gonna do like one or two more questions. So if you guys sneak in any others here while I'm kind of doing my ramble on the last couple, I'll maybe do a rapid fire on them. But I think we're gonna start winding it down here. So Jeff, individual addresses are good for auditing. If I'm collecting 50 ADA from each of 10 people, it's hard to tell who has paid. Yeah, good call. So from a security standpoint, it's you can still see all the addresses. Like think of it this way, all the addresses that are tied to this wallet, you see that they all still like come to here. So that from a security standpoint, even though it's a best practice, I kind of question how much security it actually adds because you can go to like Cardano Scan and just see all the addresses. But to Jeff's point, it is super helpful though, if with like what you were asking about, John, where like someone is sending you something and you want to track exactly how much each person sent you, you can give them each a different address. And then the auditing of it makes it different, makes it easier to identify. And hello to Oakland, by the way. I didn't say hello from where you're joining. Okay, thanks for the info. Sounds good. Sometimes worry about Dataless getting hacked. So I will say, I'll actually take a sip of water. I will say that Dataless is the most secure wallet, but if you're using a Dataless software wallet, it is only as secure as the computer that you're running it on, right? So like if you have some malware or something else that's installed on your computer, there are way more straightforward ways than like hacking into Dataless itself that people can just get your information, right? If there was like a keylogger or something like that, that's like tracking what your spending password might be. And then, yeah, that there may be more sophisticated malware that could be trying to figure out, well, additionally, like if you're, let's say you had malware on your computer and you're restoring a Dataless wallet and like you're typing in your passphrase, that keylogger would basically have, you know, your whole recovery phrase, right? So, and also like if anybody like had found a way to hack the Dataless wallet itself and you had that malware in there. So yeah, but what I would say is that like if you use a hardware wallet, something like the Ledger is the safest way to go, because the part of the Ledger, the secure element of the Ledger that actually does the signatures for the transactions of the private key to say, yes, this is a valid transaction, that part of the Ledger is never connected to the internet ever. So you have the other part of the Ledger. That's the one that obviously interfaces with all the networks and gets the addresses and everything. And then all it does is like when it says, okay, I've queued up this transaction, I need it to be signed. It queued up the transaction, needed to be signed. It then like asks for a signature from the secure element, but the secure element itself is never connected to the internet. So, and I guess I could have used better props. I could have actually shown a Ledger. There we go. See, that's and the secure element inside of here. Yeah, within software wallets, Dataless is the safest, but it's the heaviest. And when you're comparing software to hardware wallets, hardware is even safer because there's no way it can be hacked at all. So keep that in mind. All right, so definitely gonna get a Ledger Nano to connect my Dataless now. Yeah, totally. Let me, we actually in the description of this video we have a link to that, John. You can just click on it straight there. It'll take you and walk you through it. And then when you are doing that, we also have, well, we have the getting started guide, right? But you've already delegated, I'm guessing. But we have this video separately that will help you. Oh, well, this is trying to do it as part of the playlist. Let me get you just the video. We've got this guy. So setting up your Ledger Nano X from scratch. And if you choose to get a Ledger Nano S instead of the X, it's the exact same process. So here you go, John. Setting, well, actually also how to order it too. Oh yeah, setting up Ledger Nano X. There you go. So in the description below, you can click and it'll take you to Ledger's site. And then that video, when it comes in, you can watch that video and it'll get you all set up. Literally just unbox the thing, sit down, and then in those next 20 minutes, we'll walk you through everything that you need to do. Okie dokie. So let's do last couple and we'll wind it up here. RusterX, hello. Do you hold your place when staking or does it pause your earnings? I currently don't have a wallet, but I want to get into staking. 6-month-old noob here. Ooh, is it staking? Sorry, I'm not totally sure what you mean by that. But what I will say, if I'm understanding what you're asking correctly, what I will say is sort of, and if you go back a little bit earlier to the live stream, I talked about this more at length, but the short version is if you're delegating to a community stake pool, not on Coinbase and not on Kraken, if you're delegating to a community stake pool, there is no risk to you because the coins are being held by you and never have to be sent anywhere. There's no freeze periods. You don't have to have it for a minimum amount of time. And there's no minimum amount that you have to do. So definitely want to go down that route. This is the playlist that I was referring to. Where'd you go? RusterX, this is the playlist I was referring to. If you, actually, I'll link this one more time because we've had people asking about it. But here we go. So RusterX is a getting started guide playlist, which I actually linked earlier as well. But that playlist, this playlist here, will walk you through everything you need to know. If you have a hardware wallet, cool. If not, start on video 2. It'll get you started with everything you need to know on which wallet to choose and how to get it off of the exchange. Here we show you with Yoroi how to install it, how to get your ADA onto there and how to delegate, how to select a stake pool, how long before you get your rewards, and then several other questions. I think that'll be a really good place for you to start RasterX. So check that one out and just go through the playlist, and you'll feel, I think, way more informed about all of these things as you go through it. And you can always join us here in another 2 weeks, or join our Telegram group if you want to chat in the meantime. All right, we're running out of time. Let's go to rapid fire mode. Rapid fire. For added security, use the Ledger T linked to the wallet. Yep, exactly. So if you do that, you have a Trezor or a Ledger, then all you're using Adalite, Dataless, or Yoroi for as the UI to do like the pointing and clicking, but the private keys are being held by the hardware wallets themselves. Okie dokie. Jeff RasterX. Your wallet funds and your staking rewards are combined to stake with, so it's true compounding. Yep, exactly. If you have 1K and 10 in rewards. Yeah, so I'm sorry if I misunderstood. See, Jeff, it's not too much. Whenever I misunderstand something or I'm not around, you're always there to help. Thanks, buddy. But I'm the best, not you, Jeff. I'm going to pretend you're talking to Jeff because he is great. Yes, you see what I mean? I didn't even see that. All right, so we're at 33 concurrent and 32 likes. Nice. Our like to view ratio is getting there. Give us a couple more likes, guys, before we wrap up. Is that with everyone or just you guys? Everything I just said about stake pools, everything about it is a broad statement that is true for all of them, except for the ones that are on the exchanges, because they do have lockdown periods or freeze periods. They do have minimum staking that you have to do, like that amount that you have to do. And they also do have full control over your ADA. So if they were to be hacked, you could potentially lose your funds. So security, amount, and time, those three things apply to community pools like ours or any other, but not to delegating on an exchange. That's how it works overall. Exactly. Other coins may do it differently. Exactly. Cool and cool. So we'll wrap it up here. So Sky, it is somewhat annoying that the Ledger Nano X doesn't have Cardano or ADA and requires Dataless. That is annoying, but it is less annoying when you really think through why that's the case. The reason why Ledger Live can easily show your like Bitcoin balance or some of these other coins, and even Ethereum, is because for those, as of right now, all they are just value. Remember, if you were, I don't know if you were following earlier, but rewind a little bit. You have to think about your Cardano wallet as multi-dimensional. For Bitcoin, it's just a value wallet. All it is just holding your value of how much Bitcoin you have, and that's it. For your Cardano, you have your value, then your addresses, value addresses, and you also have then your staking and your staking addresses, and then the third element of your like voting and your voting addresses. And the wallet needs to be able to do all of these things. It needs to be able to let you delegate to a pool. It needs to let you vote in Project Catalyst and also receive your funds and send them and stuff like that. So the reason why Ledger and Trezor don't have UI interfaces on the Ledger Live or the Trezor Suite is because there's so much additional functionality that they would have to support. So for right now, to get that additional functionality, you use Dataless, Yoroi, or Adalite. Now, that being said, once smart contracts are out, maybe in the future, those companies will catch up and make their own wallets now that it's like the dust has settled a little bit. But I really don't blame them. There's been so much going on, and that is specific to Cardano that's so much more complicated than the other coins where all they have to do is just show an address. So, but I will clarify one thing though, is that LedgerX does have Cardano. It does support Cardano, right? You can install the Cardano app on there, and then you have to manage it, the UI, using Dataless, Yoroi, or Adalite. But the Ledger or Trezor does actually support it. That's how it's generating for you the private and public keys and getting for you the addresses. So it does support it. You just need to use one of these other wallets to manage your funds. So Ledger supports ADA and Cardano, but Ledger Live is not the interface that you use. It's one of these other ones. Okay. Cool. So thanks. And you know what? We'll call it there. Goofy Dude said, thank you and take care. That's probably as good of a place as any. If you did enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up. If you missed us this time and you want to chat next time, or if you joined us late and you are here with us live right now, we do this every 2 weeks. The next one, I looked it up before, is going to be on August 4th, Wednesday, August 4th, 2 weeks from today at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thanks to everybody that came out. Thanks for the great questions as always. Love chatting with you guys. If you want to chat in real time between now and then, join us in our Telegram group. And yeah, take care. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.